Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. In today's episode I'm going to show you how easy it is to unbox and set up one of these incredible CADE Series 2 frag tanks. Alright, so thanks for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and this one should be a bit of fun because I'm going to show you just how easy it is to set up these CADE frag tanks here, and you may already notice this one's out of the box, and I will just unfortunately spoil the event there that I did have to do this unboxing off camera because if you don't know, the CADEs actually come in two boxes ready to go. The tank comes in one box and the stand fully assembled with the sump inside it comes in another box. So they're two pretty big boxes, I gotta say that, but everything is set up. You literally pull them out of the box and the job is done. So to get these in the house, I actually had to take them out of the box, and I had to do that by myself in a bit of a hurry, so I unfortunately didn't get any footage of it, but I can assure you it's as simple as that. Now, the only thing we have to do then is to go through the plumbing, and I'll take you through that because I've got some really cool things coming for it in the next couple of weeks, which is gonna see it wet and ready to start cutting some frags. Not that my tank's quite producing enough frags yet, but it'll be ready for frags. I'll get it nice and mature and ready to go because, as you know, frag tanks generally don't have sand and rock, so they will take a little bit longer to mature. So I want to get some water in this thing as soon as possible, and thankfully for me, the CADE system makes that super quick and easy to do. So let's jump on over, have a look at the plumbing, we'll get that all set up, and we'll go for a bit of an overview of the tank. Then we'll go rip into some brand new Ecotech gear because I want this frag tank to be as non-custom as possible, I guess I'm going to say. My dream reef tank is the most customized thing that I've ever seen out there. I want this system to be basically an off-the-shelf system so I can just purchase anything from my local fish shop and it'll fit right up onto this system without any crazy thought process whatsoever. So enough rambling from me, let's go check out the tank and have a look at the plumbing itself. Alright, let's start off by taking a look at this incredible CADE frag tank, and I'll just explain the reason why it's sitting like that, looking like it's fully assembled, is because that's kind of how it comes. The CADE systems come in two boxes. One contains the display tank, one contains the fully assembled cabinet with the sump pre-installed inside. So you kind of take it out of the box, which I had to do to get this one inside the house. You take the two pieces out of the box, you sit the tank on top, you fit the plumbing, which we got down there, and you're ready to go. It's that simple. There's none of this following 400-step instructions trying to assemble a stand and making sure you got it level and all that jazz. You just grab the system, put it together, one bit on top of the other bit, chuck the plumbing in, you're good to go. But let's have a look at this system, and we'll go top to bottom, starting off with the included jump net now. Now, some people love these, some people hate them. The good news is if you don't like it, you can take it off. If you like that ultra clean look, take it off, you're good to go. But if you do want a jump guard, these ones come included free of charge now, and they're not a bad bit of kit. I mean, it's a little tricky to get on one-handed, but there we go. But they fit the system so neatly. They just sit down flush. They give perfect coverage over the tank. As you'd imagine, it's made by the people that make the tank. You can see that it uses the clear mesh, so you're not going to lose any light, anything like that, and it gives you a very good solution. But for the argument of this video, let's take it off just so we can get a better look at the tank itself. And have a look at the silicon work. You can see that CADE logo etched right in the middle there, showing proudly that this is a CADE system, but the silicon work itself is just perfect. Beautiful clear silicon all the way down there. You can see the ultra low iron glass through there. It's got that beautiful blue sort of color to it rather than green. And the glasswork is just impeccable. Move on over to the back. We've got the flip up section here so you can see your weir. You can get down and you obviously get access and make sure it's all clear and things like that in there. The CADE systems all utilize this dual overflow. So we've got our standard one at the top here to do the surface skimming. We have this second one down the bottom here, which helps. It's got a pane inside there as well. So if the power goes off, it's not going to drain down that low. It has a second sort of pane up there to make sure that it will keep the water in the display. But what it does is it creates this high suction area which will get all that heavy detritus that doesn't make its way up to the surface. Super important in my opinion on a frag system where you don't want this just base to get all riddled with detritus. That's going to help pull that out. Alright, this section here is our built-in RO reservoir, and yes, it's a beauty. I'm not sure exactly on the volume. I think it's about 14-15 litres. I'll double check that and put the volume on on screen now, but I probably won't be using that. I've got some tricky ideas that I'm going to do with that section, but it's really cool to know that it does have a built-in reservoir, so you don't have to have a drum like that sitting next to your tank, keeping things ugly. You can fill the water up in here, and that will then gravity feed into your sump, which is just perfect. Last but not least, we've got the return section here. This has got this adjustable little ball outlet, which allows you to aim the return wherever you would like. I'm going to have it kind of up on an angle like that, just so that it gets a bit of surface disruption. Of course, you've got a little flip-top cover, so you can get access into there should you need to, but keeps things nice and neat. You also have this little sight glass, which shows you the level of your RO reservoir as well. Moving down from there, we get into this pre-assembled cabinet and sump and all things like that. I guess we'll start off with probably the highlight of the CADE system, and that is on this right end here. You've got this gorgeous power center, and this gives you just the best spot ever to mount all of your pump controllers and things like that. You get these little illuminated switches here that light up when they're on. Every switch has a cover, so you can put labels over them to say, you know, return pump, wave pump 1, wave pump 2, you know, whatever you want, light 1, 2, 3, etc., etc., chiller, heater, all that stuff, so you can have that all very neatly labeled there. The switches are on this side, the outlets are on the other side, and you've got these little cable cutouts here which allow you to feed, if you do mount your controllers here, you can then feed the cables through there. Super, super neat, and a really nice touch. All right, now as I opened up the doors, I should point out that this cabinet is entirely aluminium, plastic, and glass, so there's nothing here to rust. And as pointed out before, the sump actually does arrive pre-installed in this location. Now it has these little holders here, which you can unscrew. They're just there for shipping purposes. Some people like to leave them there, totally fine. You just got to watch to make sure that even though these are stainless screws, they can still rust. So personally, I'll probably be removing them, but that is up to the individual. All right, now the sump over there, obviously we have our drains come down into here. They then go up over into our filter sock section, which then goes through. It obviously has this cutout here. Should our filter socks get clogged, the water can't go higher than this. It will overflow into the next section, which the number of times I've seen systems that have floors where if the socks fill up, it's going to overflow into your floor scares me. So that's not going to happen on this system. Into the next chamber, we have this removable baffle here, which is perfect if you want to run something like a fuse over this side and a skimmer on this side. Personally, I'll probably be removing that just so I can have this gigantic section in the sump right there, but that's up to each individual. Come across into this section, which is really nifty. I must admit, when I saw this on paper, I wasn't overly pleased, or pleased probably not the right word, I wasn't that enthused by it. Now that I've seen it in person, I actually really like it. It comes with these little chambers here that got these little stands on them. They've got holes down the bottom. You can fill this up with various medias. I'm going to be putting little bacteria balls in there so that I've got them seeding in my main tank now. Once this one's got water in it, I can put them in there. Now the water comes over there through our main chamber, a skimmer chamber, comes up over these and has to go down through them and underneath to get into the next chamber, which just means the water's all going to pass through there. Perfect opportunity to get this system up and running as quickly as possible. And then last but not least, we come over into that back L chamber there, which is our return chamber. That's also got the little bracket there so we can mount up our gravity feed RO. Probably won't be mounting that, but super handy if you're in a position where you do want to use that RO. You don't have to rely on electricity or anything like that. No sensors to fail. It just does what it needs to do. All right, you'll notice we've got some cutouts there. Now some of those are for wiring to come through, some of those are for plumbing to go through, because our return pump mounts down there and comes up. We've got a couple of holes for little just pipes to go through should you need to run things over here like your chiller and whatnot, but also for cables if you like. And we've also got these little holes here which are perfect for dosing lines to come through right into your media section, which is a pretty nice little layout. Come across into this section, which has been designated as a chiller section, but of course you can use it for whatever you like. We've also got this handy little shelf if you want to mount like a dosing pump or something in there. And of course we've got the back of our power distribution units, so you can have all of your messy cables and bricks and things over this side, keep them away from the clean view on the other side. I'm pretty keen to mount all my power bricks and things down here, have them switched up here, and have the controllers on the other side, so I can keep everything neat and tidy while still being super accessible, exactly the sort of thing you want. All right, now moving over to our plumbing. This is 98% the way it comes. The only thing I've done is I've added this section here, this little bit in the end here to adapt the sinking flex hose up to the return pump I'm going to run. But let's work through the plumbing left to right. We start off with our full drain on that side. Now, I say full drain, full siphon. That's the one that we want to have the bit up in our weir, this part here. That's going to be fully submerged, and we control that by this beautiful sinking flow color gate valve. That's going to give us really nice fine control to make sure that we get the siphon happening perfectly. Come across to our next drain here. Now this one's our secondary / emergency drain. We have that one. That one is a bit higher. Now, I should point out these pipes are all pre-cut. Everything's set so that you don't have to cut things, glue things, none of that. It's all good, ready to go. You literally just mount it all up to the tank once you put it in place and you're good to go. So that one will sit, that'll be the height of the water in our weir, and then that one will just pass water and air as it comes through to the sump. Come on to our return pump hose here, and it does come with this sinking flex hose here, which makes the installation super adaptable to whatever you want to run. I've just mounted on a little bit here so I can secure that on there, and that'll fix up to my return pump nicely. You can see it comes with these gorgeous little, we've got unions everywhere, so if you do wish to pull it apart you can, but it's kind of good to go as is. You've got two little outlets there for just like your manifold if you want to run reactors and things like that off it. Comes across here through, that's where it passes through the wall in that sump area there, to another tap there. This one is designated for a chiller, but you can use it for whatever you like, or you can just leave it turned off. Then obviously it goes up and up into that little return outlet on the right hand side. The final piece here is our part from the built-in RO reservoir. That has a tap on it obviously, so you can turn that off if you wish. It comes down into our gravity float here, which mounts in the sump. I don't think I'm going to be using that bit just yet, but it's handy to have there just in case. I should point out, just to make it easier and also to give me a little bit better viewing angle for the camera, I have removed both of the front doors, which is super simple on these CADEs. You do need a Phillips head screwdriver. There's a little locating screw for the top hinge up the top here. Undo that screw, it allows you to slide that hinge along, and then once you slide that one along, it gives you enough room to pull it down, pull it out, pull the other one out, door comes off in one piece. Simple as that. All right, and the first piece I'm going to start off with is the main drain, and now that's got the shorter pipe with a little grey fitting on top of it. Make sure you've got a rubber O-ring there. Make sure you've got another rubber gasket / O-ring to go on the bottom piece down here, and then basically just fit it up. For me, I'm going to install this on the leftmost side, so just going to put this one in through the top. Then I'm going to locate that down the bottom. Might even undo that just to make it a touch easier. Now I just have to work with this piece. Okay, beautiful. That one's now in tight. I won't put this one on until I've got the other drain in place, just to give me a little bit more room to work. All right, now it's time for the secondary drain. Now what I learned doing that one is you feed this through the top, which has got a gasket on the top side. I then find if you grab the bottom gasket and put that on by hand, that helps kind of just hold this in place enough for you to start screwing that pipe on, and then you can pull down on it and get a nice tight fit. All right, I got the gasket on that now, so I'm going to grab the secondary pipe. It's going to undo the bulkhead. Sorry, not the bulkhead, the union. Now I'm going to get this on a couple turns, then I can pull down on it to tighten it up nice and solid. All right, sweet, those two bits are on now. I can fit up the bottom bits, which are all pre-cut, glued, everything you need, so you just have to screw them on. All right, that took me all of maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Both our weir pipes and overflow is now completely assembled. Now I did touch on that I'm not going to use the gravity mount top off, but it simply has this little mount down in there that you put this locking screw down onto. That plumbing then comes up onto this piece here, which goes through one of the holes in the board there. You've then got essentially the same sort of gasket style setup, except there is a bulkhead pre-installed in the base of the tank for the RO to go into. So you literally undo that bit, screw up onto there, screw onto there, you're good to go. But I won't be demonstrating that because I'm not installing that. What I will be installing is this gigantic return manifold section, which has got some pretty cool bits and pieces. I'm going to undo some of the bulkheads, just I keep saying bulkheads, I'm going to undo some of the unions just to make sure that I've got it all where I want it to. Now this one, the bulkhead do actually have to install here, so make sure I've got the gaskets. This piece will go into the back of the tank and connect onto the outlet. Make sure we've got a gasket on the top, gasket on the bottom, then I can screw this bit in. So I'm just going to get up there and do that now. All right, now we're getting somewhere. It seems this part here does not go directly onto the bulkhead. The part where the manifold does, this then comes through the opening and will secure on there for our manifold. Now, you can position these wherever you sort of want the taps. I'm going to have one coming straight forward, one going straight up, just because they can't go directly next to each other. That'll then fit on there. And from there we can mount up our flex hose, which I must admit this one is quite long. I'll see whether I need a piece this long. I don't believe the sinking pieces are able to be shortened, so we'll see how we go with that. But we're pretty well ready now. I mean, it's taken, I've got a bit of sweat up because I'm doing this in my track pants, but it's probably taken about 15 minutes and I've got the CADE Frag tank completely plumbed, ready to go for water. So happy days. All right, the first external piece of the puzzle, I guess, is the return pump, and that's the Vector M2 I'm going to run on this system. Potentially could have gone the S2, but I don't know, it's always handy to have a little bit of flow up your sleeve in case I want to then start doing some sort of recirculation or something like that. So let's rip this pump open. We've got some adapters, inlet and outlet adapters, power leads, a pump, funnily enough. We get a power supply, we get controller brackets, very nice. And of course, the controller itself. This piece will obviously mount over on that controller panel at the end there, so that's pretty sweet using the supplied bracket. That'll be really neat. I'm going to scoot that over there, put the power pack in there, power lead in there. Let's get this pump into position. The larger fitting will be our inlet. Not that I'm going to hook anything on there. I may eventually add one of the Ecotech strainers on there just to be safe, but it's not overly necessary at this point in time. I'm going to sit the pump down into position. He'll sit down in there quite neatly. Now I just got to work out whether I want to use this full length sinking adapter here, or I just go a shorter bit of flex hose myself. Yeah, looking at the length of the hose that's included with this system is probably a bit long for my pump configuration, so I'm probably just going to use a little bit of the Aquarium green soft hosing between my Ecotech pump and the manifold here. The kit does come, when I say the kit, the tank does come with some hose clamps and stuff. I'm personally not going to use the hose clamps. I prefer to warm up the tube and then put some zip ties on nice and tight. I just find that the zip ties are never going to rust, and if they're kept out of direct sunlight, they tend to last a long time. But other than that, I mean, that's how easy it is to unbox, set up, plumb, even the wiring side of things. Like, we're pretty well ready to go with this system. Now, I'm not going to put water in it just yet because I've got to do some things that's going to be much easier to do by being able to move the tank around. So I'm going to crack on with that now, but I'll give you a little sneak peek because I will put that video out in the next few days. I'm going to mount up some radians, going to mount up some Vortec flow pumps, get all those controllers mounted up the end there, have it all looking nice and sweet, and then this system will be ready for water. And I do have some other crazy things coming for this system too, which will really make it my dream frag tank. If you have any questions at all regarding the CADE system, the plumbing, the wiring, I don't know, the silicon, the overflow, whatever it is, even the jump net, whatever you want to know, feel free to pop the comment in the question in the comment section down below. If you don't know, I personally respond to each and every question down there. So even if I don't know the answer myself, I will reach out to CADE, I will find the answer and get back to you. So if you do have any questions at all regarding this system, feel free to pop it in the comment section down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. That helps me out on the YouTube algorithm. And last but not least, if you want to see some of the future updates on this tank and my dream reef tank and anything else on the channel, make sure you subscribe. It costs no money whatsoever. It takes 2 seconds of your time and it helps me out a long way. So if you can click that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, let's push for 25,000 subscribers this year. That'll put me up there in some of the upper echelon of fish tubers in this country and worldwide. So that's the target for the year. Let's see if we can make it happen together. Other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up there. I've got to do some stuff before I jump on a plane and head to Sydney. I'll cover that event as well. I'm going to hit up a couple of shops and hang out with some reefing buddies. Should be a pretty cool event. I won't say any more than that other than make sure you watch the video and you'll see all the details there. Other than that, guys, till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Bye.